This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Next at 5, going on strike. A nursing shortage could soon become worse as thousands of Kaiser Permanente nurses get ready to head to the picket line in just over a week. What they're hoping to change.
Then are shorter summers for school kids on the way? Some Washington districts are considering changing the calendar, hoping it could help students keep learning.
Plus, researchers sound the alarm about climate change and its impact on Mount Hood. They say in about 50 years, there may not be enough snow on the mountain to ski on.
Good morning to you on this Friday. We are all very excited about the day. Yes. Okay, Let's start with our weekend weather forecast. What are we looking at?
Two quick shout outs. Garibaldi, shout out. Hey. Aurora, shout out. Hey.
What happened?
They win the wind.
Those were the windy spots yesterday. Garibaldi had a 70 gust. Aurora had a 45 gust. Here's the radar this morning. We have a front coming through. That's why we have this steady rain band. You can see it's everywhere from the Cascades back off of the Oregon coast. So it's going to be a steady rain as you get yourself going to start your Friday morning. I think here in Portland and down in Salem, steady rain through at least 8 o'clock, and maybe in some spots it's 10 before it's finally out of here. So it's a wet start, 50 degrees on average out the door. But look at noon and look at when the kids get out of school. Mainly dry with some sunshine and temperatures in the mid-50s. So this turns out to be a nice Friday.
Sounds great. All right, Rod, thank you. Hey, we want to start with some news just coming into the newsroom this morning from Pfizer. The company says its experimental pill that would battle COVID cuts rates of hospitalization and death by nearly 90% among patients with mild to moderate infections. Now, Pfizer says it'll ask the FDA and international regulators to authorize the pill. A similar one from Merck is currently under FDA review and was just cleared yesterday by UK regulators.
Also this morning, thousands of Kaiser Permanente workers are planning to strike. The Union for Nurses and other healthcare professionals announced yesterday employees will walk out November 15th unless something changes. Last month, 96% of union members voted to strike. This affects 3,400 Kaiser workers in Oregon and Washington, plus employees in 5 other states. We talked to one nurse who's also the union steward.
What needs to happen for you guys not to go on strike?
Well, they're definitely going to have to drop their most destructive proposal, which would be a 2-tier wage system.
At one point, Kaiser proposed that new employees would receive 26% less pay and fewer benefits. Negotiations are also failing over staffing issues and cost of living wage increases. Kaiser released a statement which reads in part, "The challenge we're trying to address in partnership with our unions is the increasingly unaffordable cost of health care. And the fact is, wages and benefits account for half of Kaiser Permanente's operational costs." Kaiser says it hopes to avoid a strike, but if one does occur, it plans to keep hospitals open and continue patient care.
This week, the CDC gave the green light to allow kids as young as 5 to get the Pfizer COVID vaccine. Well, now Oregon is moving to get those kids vaccinated. State health officials expect about 180,000 doses to be in the state, and that covers half of the 342,000 kids who just became eligible. But health officials caution you parents just have to wait a few days or weeks before it may become widely available. So we talked with U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy, who has a 5-year-old who is now eligible for the vaccine, and he stressed it is safe for this age group and it's 90% effective at preventing symptomatic infection in kids.
The side effects that children did have were soreness in the arm, fatigue, headaches, some fevers, but they lasted a day or two and then disappeared, leaving our children with protection. There were no serious adverse events that were noted in the trials, which is really, really good.
We also talked about when kids under 5 might be eligible for a vaccine, and Dr. Murthy said trials are underway, but there are lots of steps left in the process before a vaccine would be approved for those little kids. He expects they could start getting the vaccine in the early part of the year.
The Portland City Council is talking about how it wants to spend an extra $60 million in tax money. Commissioners expected $5 million, but the surging economy brought in a whole lot more. One option, hiring more police and outfitting them with body cameras. Commissioner Mingus Mapp supports that. He also wants to expand the city's behavioral health teams and set aside more beds for people who are mentally ill or violent.
Those are a package of programs that I think actually will make Portland safer, and we can afford to fund, and would make a difference in people's real lives within the next 12 months.
The commissioner asked for $2 million for those extra mental health beds, but the mayor didn't give him any money. Mapp says he believes that's an oversight and will ask the mayor to restore the money. Yesterday's meeting was a work session. The final decision is still a couple weeks off.
Well, when it's cold and wet in the fall and winter, we stay inside more. So the Oregon Poison Control Center wants to remind you about the dangers of carbon monoxide. It's an odorless, colorless gas that can kill. The CDC says every year a few hundred people die from its exposure. Just this past February, you may remember, sadly, 4 people died in Clackamas County trying to stay warm when we had that ice storm. The Oregon Poison Center says they treat around 225 people a year for it. Some of the common mistakes people make are using a grill or a barbecue, a gas range, or an oven to generate heat. And keep in mind, when you're using a generator, the Poison Center says, make sure it's not right outside your home.
It's next to your house, it can get drawn into your house. If the generator's in your basement or somewhere else or in the garage, carbon monoxide can travel through walls. And even if it's in your garage, you still can be exposed to carbon monoxide. So get those generators outside of the house and 25 feet from the house if you can.
A few more tips to keep in mind. Check and maintain your fireplace. Also, with daylight saving time this weekend, not only check those smoke alarms, but also the batteries on your carbon monoxide detector that you should have on each level of your house.
All good reminders. Okay, we know companies have been having a really hard time lately filling open positions, but right now, they're trying even harder to find employees as we head into the holidays. We talked with an economics professor at the University of Oregon. He says about 75 to 100,000 people are still unemployed in Oregon. Companies like UPS are planning to tap that pool. It's looking for 1,500 seasonal workers. UPS is offering higher pay this year and programs that help students pay for college. And for the next 3 days only, you can walk into a UPS store and get an on-the-spot interview. If you'd like more information, head to the UPS website.
It's not year-round school. It's just allocating the days differently throughout the school year.
Oh, some Washington students could have shorter summer breaks soon.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, I know. 18 districts and 1 charter school got a grant from the state to explore adopting a balanced calendar, including Vancouver Public. So let's look at what the changes would mean. So North Thurston is one of the districts studying this schedule. So their current calendar has a summer break around 11 weeks long, with 2 weeks off in December and the normal week-long spring break. Under the new plan, kids are still in school the same amount of days, but the schedule is broken up essentially into 4 45-day quarters with either 2 or 3 week breaks in the fall, winter, and spring. The summer breaks are cut in half, down to about 2 months long. The idea is to prevent learning loss, particularly among low-income students.
I'm
what do you guys
telling you,
think?
I've been there, done that with my kids, so I'm going to defer to you. Your daughter is
You guys
in
had shorter.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, I would be open to listening to the information that they found, you know, on this, if it really helps your kids retain. When I was kidding when you read the story, I'm just saying, it sounds bad, shorter summer. I think we should rename that something else, right?
Yeah.
Because shorter summer
It's a marketing
doesn't
problem.
sound good.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, you know, like it just kind of keeps those skills sharper.
Yeah,
you know?
like I said, I would be open to
Yeah,
getting
but if
more
you're going to
information
school
on
the
it.
same amount of days.
On the flip side, you know, the families, you're always struggling to
Planning.
schedule your vacation
Sure.
during these breaks for your kids, right?
Those problems, vacation problems.
All right, why don't you put your
Yes.
skills as a meteorologist to use this morning?
Let me find some and we'll get going. All right.
What is this graphic?
You guys
It's
touched
very
on this.
fancy.
Well, this is it's the graphic the company sent us,
Oh,
all right?
okay.
And it reminds you that we end daylight saving time and we begin standard time,
I
technically at
almost
2 a.m. this Sunday morning. So remember, you fall back is the old saying. So literally 2 a.m. this Sunday becomes 1 a.m. So you set your clocks back 1 hour Saturday night before you go to bed. And what that means is that The sun will be going down about 10 minutes before 5, I think, roughly on Sunday. But it will be daylight, of course, an hour earlier, so that part is good. Here's the radar. We have clouds being sent all over the place. We have rain here on the west side, now bumping up into the Cascades. Snow levels this afternoon will be falling down to past level of 4,000 feet, but by then, most of the moisture will be over. But this is what you call steady rain, right? Nothing showery about this, and we have some heavier rain pockets over the Coast Range right now. So Futurecast shows it's raining through 7:30, raining through 8 o'clock. At some point, maybe as early as 9, the steady rain starts to move east of I-5. Could be as late as 10. But once this rain band ends, I think there's a shower chance, but all the forecast modeling says no. They just give us sunshine this afternoon, or at least partly cloudy skies, and a dry evening. So this is mainly just a morning rain on your Friday. Here's tomorrow at 12:30 in the afternoon. We talked about the fact that over the weekend, most hours will see some rain. I still think in terms of heftier amounts, Saturday will be the rainier day overall than Sunday, but the weekend looks to be gray with rain and on the chilly side, too. All right, 48 in Astoria right now, low 50s in Kelso, Portland, and Salem. We have 37 out in John Day, and the forecast numbers for this afternoon down in the Mid-Valley. Mid-50s coming, a mainly dry afternoon, so that's going to feel real great. Here's the weekend. I have 53 tomorrow and 52, but when you're in the middle of a heavier shower, it will only be in the 40s Saturday and Sunday afternoons. That's going to be cool. Still looking at a fairly rainy, windy system coming in Tuesday into Wednesday of next week, and that is your 7-day forecast.
I'm just looking forward to that extra hour of sleep.
That's right.
Yes, this weekend. Thank you, Rod. Well, Mount Hood has seen a major decrease in snow over the last few decades. Coming up this morning, we'll spell out what that means for skiers and resorts. Plus, our Verify team looking into this claim that the collapse of a volcano could cause a huge natural disaster on the U.S. East Coast.